It's like, yeah, it's kind of crazy, bro. That's kind of crazy. All right, what's good, YouTube? Today's video, we got this channel. I don't even know who these people are. It's the channel, the TikTok channel's called Sunday Cool Tea, but they got like this theology about different parts of the Bible that we're gonna listen to, and it just blew my mind, bro. When I thought of it, I automatically thought Attack on Titan, bro. Just with my anime mind, bro. I was just like, bro, this is like Attack on Titan, bro. Like, this is crazy. Then I kind of just put it together, and I was like, bro, Attack on Titan and the Bible are actually kind of somewhat of they got a similar story. But we'll play the video, and I'll give my thoughts on it, and then I'll kind of explain why I connected this, this theology to, like, Attack on Titan, how the stories kind of make sense, how they intertwine. But without further ado, let's get into the video.
Biblical scholars theorize the transfiguration of Jesus also happened at the top of Mount Hermon.
Wow,
Interesting.
cool.
So the theory is that on this mountaintop, God's appearance changed, but he was communicating with Moses and Elijah. How cool would that be if in that moment they were outside the realm of time? And so when Moses was on top of Mount Sinai and Elijah was on top of Mount Carmel, God was directly speaking to them at that moment in the present, but in Moses' time, it would be that present as well. And in Elijah's time, it would be that present.
So wild.
And that's why they knew and had full confidence of the coming of the Messiah, because they directly spoke with Jesus on this mountaintop. Even the disciples that were witnessing this, they saw, like, this is the Son of God. This is God.
Yes.
And he's literally talking to Moses and Elijah right now.
Here it is. And he says, as the men were parting from him, Peter said to Jesus, Master, it's not good that we're here. Let us make 3 tents, one for you, Moses, and for Elijah. Not knowing what he said, as he was saying these things, a cloud came and overshadowed them. And a voice came out of the cloud saying, this is my son, my chosen one.
And as crazy as that sounds, bro, literally every time I listen or like read the Bible, some theology or like something in the Bible I just didn't see my first time reading just like flies over my head, bro. And it's like, I remember Moses' experience with God, you can say Jesus, with God on the mountain. Whenever God gave him the commandments, Moses asked to see God. God said, I can only show you my back because, if I should, you see my face, you wouldn't live. And, that happened. And then, just the attributes of God, like when he was talking, it sounded like thunder and just like things of that nature. And Elijah's story is funny because I don't even really remember it, but Elijah had a similar experience that Moses had talking to God on the mountain. And it was kind of pretty much the same thing. Like, God was shielding Elijah, and like, I don't know the complete story. We can go and read it real quick. In 1 Kings 19, chapter 19, verses 11 through 13, 11 saying, and he said, go out and stand on the mount before the Lord, and behold, the Lord passed by, and a great and strong wind tore the mountains and broke into pieces the rocks before the Lord, but the Lord was not in the wind. And after the wind, an earthquake, but the Lord was not in the earthquake. And the earthquake was a fire, but the Lord was not in the fire. And after the fire, the sound of the low whisper, and Elijah heard it. He wrapped his face in cloak and went out and stood in the entrance of the cave. Behold, there came a voice to him and said, what are you doing here, Elijah? So it turns out, Elijah's story is pretty much somewhat to Moses'. I'm assuming he wrapped his face because I have to look more into it, but I know that, Moses had to cover him, God covered Moses up so he didn't die from seeing God. But I'm assuming, Elijah was looking for God in the fire, the earthquake, the wind, and couldn't see him. And then once he wrapped up his face in the cloak, he could hear God, and, God was talking to him. He asked him, what are you doing here? But that's just a little bit of theology. I didn't read the whole context, so I should probably go back and read it. But basically just hearing both, and if anybody has like more information or more theology on that, leave it in the comments. But basically hearing that, to sum it up, Elijah and Moses had the same experience on the mountain with God. Then, like they were saying in this, Jesus was talking to Elijah and Moses on the mountain. And, they had these similar experiences, but Jesus is on the mountain, and, his theology saying that, Jesus was actually present in both of these times, talking to Moses and Elijah at the same time, even though they're in different time frames. Like Jesus is speaking in a different realm of time, you know, proving Jesus' deity, like, you know, Jesus is God, so he can do that. But what blew my mind was, like, one, I didn't see that. I was like, okay, this is just another way of, you know, proving Jesus is God. Like, if you get deep into theology. But I'm thinking, like, bro, Attack on Titan, like, this is kind of like Eren, bro. Like, Eren, whenever he was a kid, this is a spoiler for anybody that hasn't finished Attack on Titan, that hasn't made it to the end. But we learned about Eren in Attack on Titan, bro. And how, you know, Eren as a kid was basically just had this path set for him by his older self. So he can say, this is God the Father creating the path, creating the destiny for himself, if that makes sense. Because, you know, Jesus is God. You know, Jesus said him and the Father are one. So this is the Father creating the destiny for the Son on earth. So we got Eren as a child, like, you know, being led what to do by his older self, you know, lead him in that direction. And so, you know, Eren in the future, you know, once he took I forgot what that attack, that, you know, I think it was the Attack Titan or something like that. But basically just gave you the power to go into, like, the past and be able to, like, change things and, like, do stuff like that. But we got Eren that can go back and do things like that. So he, you know, he went back and spoke to his father, and then went back and just was changing different things in the past to line up with this new reality. And it's just like, then we got Eren basically, you know, even though he said he was doing it for his people, he claimed to be this, you know, this bad, you know, this is where the story kind of gets separate, but because, like, Jesus, you know, he lived a sinless life, so he never sinned. But when he died on the cross, he became sin before he died, for it to be the sacrifice. But in this case, you know, we can connect Eren and Jesus. Like, Eren somewhat became sin, like he became the bad person and sacrificed himself to free his people. And, like, if you think of it like that, the stories, they're different for sure. They're different. I'm not saying they're the same at all, but Attack on Titan is in a likeness to, you know, the Bible and Jesus and, like, how that story goes. Because it's like, bruh, like, the whole theology behind going back in time, being in two different realms at once, because, you know, Eren had the power to, you know, to do that. And it's not exactly the same. So don't say if you watch Attack on Titan, you're reading the Bible. It's not what I'm saying, because, like, you know, it's still an anime. It's still like made up, but it's in the likeness. Like, this is for people that don't understand the Bible. It's like you can watch Attack on Titan and enjoy the story and be in awe, like, how crazy the story is and how complex it is, and how these people are going, and, you know, Eren's going back in time and doing this and changing stuff, and this is where it leads to. And it's like, I want you to understand that reading the Bible and knowing the Bible is the same concept as Attack on Titan, bro. Like, when you watch Attack on Titan, bro, and then you read the Bible, it's the same thing, but the theology in the Bible is, like, real life. Like, you know, Jesus was a real person and did these things, bro. So it's like, watching Attack on Titan, you might think, oh, this is a fairy tale. Like, this is crazy. It's, like, the best story ever told. Like, bro, like, imagine, like, something like this was actually happening, and, like, we're led by something. Like, bro, we are. Like, this is real, bro. This is real life, bro. Jesus was a real person that claimed to be God. And, you know, in the gospel, those are eyewitnesses of people saying, this is what happened, bro. And, like, this is real. Like, Jesus is God. This, like, and then we have the Bible to go back and be able to look at it and see these different things in history, and then we're able to, like, create this theology from it. theology isn't like pinpoint accurate. Like, so it's more about being led by the Holy Spirit, and what makes sense to you, the Holy Spirit will make it make sense. But it's being able to look back on these the Old Testament, this history, and then seeing, like, Jesus said that he spoke to Elijah and Moses, and Elijah and Moses had similar encounters with God. And for Jesus to say, I specifically talked to Elijah and Moses, it's like, come on now, put 2 and 2 together. That's what theology is, bro. Put 2 and 2 together, and then think, does that make sense? Is this a possibility? And it's weird because, like I said, I never thought about it like that. But then I seen this video and I was like, it's like, yeah, it's kind of crazy, bro. That's kind of crazy. But anyways, yeah, bro. Let me know y'all's thoughts, man. Let me know y'all's thoughts on the video. If you see it the same way that I see it, if you can connect the theology and see that it makes sense, and if y'all know anything that I don't know, put it in the comments. Something else that can blow my mind. Maybe you might prove me wrong, prove me right. I don't know. But yeah, let me know y'all's theology on it. And yeah, bro. Those of y'all that don't know Jesus, bro, read the Bible. Y'all are looking for a crazy story, like an amazing, like the best. You looking for the best story ever told, bro? You gonna find it in the Bible. I'm sorry. Read the Bible one time through. Read it through. Those of you that aren't Christian, I would suggest read the gospel first, get to know Jesus. But if you if you was born into Christianity like me myself, and just never understood it, I don't see the harm. Start in the Old Testament. I like watch go to YouTube, look up a Bible study, and that's reading the word, in order. Heart Dive is a good example. I watch Heart Dive on YouTube. Watch Heart Dive and listen to the Bible in chronicle order, like beginning to end, and you'll get you'll get a good story. Like, you'll be like, okay, this is fire. Like, I never seen it this way, and you'll learn who Jesus truly is, and it'll draw you to him. But then this is where the crazy part comes in, because it's like you read it the first time through and you think you know it, but you don't, bruh. You'll hear things, you'll see things that you didn't see before. It's like every time you hear something about the Bible, it's a different perspective and it's a different teaching. So it's like you'll always learn something new, bro. Like, I feel there's nobody that completely understands the Bible, bro. And that's what makes it the best story ever told, because it's a new story every time you read it.
Yeah, okay. Everything fine in the morning. Everything fine in the morning.